Hey all, Michael Gage here with The Worst Party. Today we're going to talk about politics a little bit, talk about the parties. And like my last video, I said, let's put ourselves right in the middle of it and change. Here's the thing. Democrats are Democrats, Republicans, Republicans. A lot of people side with one or the other. And then there are the people that call themselves independents. The problem is nobody truly is either. If we really want to look at it, and especially not independent, because we're all really looking to be sold. We're looking to be sold on these ideas and ideals as Americans. And both parties are serving up what they feel is best and not looking out for the people as a whole. They can say that they are. They can put all these facts, statistics out that make it look good, but bottom line is it really? Look at it this way. These people are elected. They're elected to serve in the House of Representatives, a congressional district within their state, and they're supposed to be representing those people, their constituents, on Capitol Hill for at least 2 years. Now, maybe it's also good to look at working with the other congressional people from your state if you have one, because there are some states that have at-large representatives, such as South Dakota. They have one representative, so there's nobody else to work for, so they're actually representing the entire state. They're not the only ones. I just bring up South Dakota because that's the last place I lived before moving to Virginia. Virginia, we have 11, and unfortunately there's a couple that won't be back this year. And I'm not going to say who to vote for because I don't want anybody truly to vote for any of them. I'm putting this out now, just before September, because I want to see what we can do. They're not going in and doing what I feel is best for America. We have this wave where we hear, let's make America great again. And some people saying, well, when was it great? When wasn't it? I say, you know what? America's always been great, even through our flaws that we've learned through. But both parties use us. They use us and lose us. They're all about themselves. When they get there, they caucus together. They have a whip, majority whip, minority whip. It doesn't matter which side, a Republican whip and a Democratic whip. Their job is to secure votes for certain things on the floor. And sometimes to do that, they make concessions and add things to bills that don't belong in bills because they have nothing to do with it. It's like, an education bill. Some of them have things such as farming or mining or other work type things that have nothing to do with education, but ultimately it's going to be put across to us as an education bill. But we're missing the fine print. And they shouldn't be looking to caucus to come up with votes. They should be looking at what is the best. What is the best solution for the people I represent? Does this affect them one way or another? Does it affect their lives? Does it affect their families' lives? Does it affect their job, their work, everything that we do to keep them in office? Now, here's what I say. Both parties are fickle. And I'm not going to say I'm an independent because I'm not. I tired of, well, I'll just show you the shirt again. You know, I like wearing different shirts. Mickey Mouse. I'm tired of the Mickey Mousing around. That's why, you know, I came up with the worst party. Maybe it'll never become a real party. I don't know. But I'm tired of the two parties we have. I used to be a lifelong Republican. I ran as a Republican, and the backing I got was so slim from the top down. The only person on the top, and I ran during a gubernatorial election year against an incumbent, which made it twice as difficult. But of the top three candidates, governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general, on the Republican side, the only one I got support from was the one running for attorney general. And he was at functions where I was at. He was willing to talk. He was willing to do things. I had a fundraiser in the city, and I invited the chairman of the Virginia Republican Committee to come and speak on my behalf. He came, he showed up, he shook hands, he spoke about the statewide candidates. He did not bring up my race. Why? That's what he was there for, and that's what he knew he was there for. Didn't happen. Sorry. Move away. I come back. I've fought bills in the Virginia General Assembly as a citizen. I've gone up 4 Republican bills, 4 Democrat bills, gone against Republican bills, gone against Democrat supported bills. And usually I've won because I have better facts. They have ideas that they just think should be done just because. And that's not the case. This last time I was fighting a bill, I sent out tons of emails to all the members of the committees, subcommittees, and the House floor before it went to a vote. And all the responses I got back were from members on the Democrat side. I only got one response back from a Republican, and that was when they decided to put the bill back into committee at the last moment, just prior to it being voted on in the House and moving on to the Senate. During the same time of running for the General Assembly, when I did, the Democrat running for governor, you know, he actually was there, and, you know, he didn't speak for me, he didn't speak against me. He accepted my running and was very gracious and very nice. And I can honestly say that today, I mean, I'm glad he's still a state senator. I will say who it is. This is Creed Eads. And I respect him a lot for a lot he's done, a lot he's gone through, and his openness and willingness to communicate with himself and with his staff on a number of issues. Most importantly to me is mental health, which is very important to him. That'll go into another story. But here's the thing, politics in general, overall, they're trying to sell you. And if you saw my little post, I did, not a video, but my little post on the worst party that asked if anybody could define candy speech. Now, I don't believe you'll find anything called candy speech anywhere. This is my term. I hope it catches on. Just this part. Candy speech It's the speech that a politician gives to try and win votes. People call it a stump speech, but it's not truly a stump speech. It's a candy speech. Here's why. Candy speech. Let's take ourselves back to middle school, grade school, wherever the first thing is that we had to vote on somebody in our class to be our homeroom representative, president, vice president, whatever, doesn't matter. If you go back, what did people do? They gave out candy, they gave out cupcakes, cookies, whatever, and typically the one that won was the one who gave out the best candy or the most candy. And there weren't speeches given. Well, we keep moving up, and the same thing continues, through high school, except, they start giving speeches. College, it's more speeches. But what's involved in these speeches? They're about what I'm going to do for you. What is it that we're going to do? And people go with whatever they're fed that fills them like candy to vote for them. Well, the same issue is happening politically worldwide, really, where there's true elections. Now, we see these politicians, they're coming up, they're getting ready, they're giving speeches, there's commercials coming out. Everything they're saying is about feeding you to like them, feeding you to vote for them, to either put them back in office or to elect them to office over an incumbent. And I just don't think that's right. We need to look past what they're saying. We need to look past what these people, and we're only voting for people in two parties. So we have really two selections. Sometimes an independent runs. Like I said before, let's get together and in our districts, in our states for senator and things, let's put people forward to really be there. I don't care businessmen, I don't care the education level so much, because if you have a person in your community that, may not be well off, may not have the super education that most of these politicians do have, but are great with people, are great for the community, and have done so much in their lives, I say they should be given a chance to look to see what they can do beyond what they do inside the community. But they're not looked upon that way because of education and money. Like I said, when I ran and I was well outspent, well over 2,000 to 1 dollar wise. But that's not an issue. Let's bring up the next issue that I have with the parties. We talk about racism, and everything in this country. And you know what? The term, everybody's a little bit racist. Well, guess what? That's true. I'm racist. I will admit that I am a racist. But I'll tell you who I'm racist against. I'm racist against racists. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these parties pushing one side over the other. Now, don't get me wrong on some of the things I'm going to say. These are not about the races, but one of the terms I hate, and it's fully political, is African American. And then Caucasian or white American. Why? Why do we have to define each other based on that? Truly, if you take the word Caucasian and its original definition, it describes it as people from the Caucasus, which are part of Southern Europe, part of Asia, and part of North Africa. So, if Caucasians come from North Africa, or did originally, then guess what? They're African American. But we don't define Caucasian that way. Do we define it as white? And I'm sorry, I'm not white. And these people aren't black or African American or Asian or Hispanic. They are people, period. But the two parties try and separate out, try and say, we're the party for this race, we're the party for that race. I mean, let's look back historically. I hate bringing up slavery. Slavery was horrible, but, let's look at back to the Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves, and then them working on giving the ability to vote, at least for black men. And that was all done then on the Republican side. And then we get to the era of Martin Luther King, and the Democrats exploited it, and they brought it around, and now they call traditionally that they are always been the party for African Americans and blue collar, and Republicans are the white collar. I don't know what else, but both sides use you as a race for their own political gain. And that's why I'm saying I'm tired of race. I'm tired of looking at somebody and saying, oh yeah, you're black, I'm white. I'm human, you're human. The difference is we were created with different levels of pigmentation. That is all. That is the singular difference between us, except for man and woman. But between us, and I don't care what is, like I said, I don't care what religion, I don't care about any of that. They try and use religion against us as well. They try and use homosexuality or just sexuality in general against us. And we keep falling for it over and over again. And they get in and they don't do what's there. Let's look at the war on drugs. How long has this been going on? It's been a long time. The first real president to really push it and push the war on drugs was Richard Nixon. And it continued from there. And then Reagan pushed it even harder and continued from there. And then President Bill Clinton put it a little further and put on minimum mandatory sentencings, such as, if you're caught dealing drugs or with an amount of drugs, it was a minimum of 20 years in prison. But that's the thing is, what have we won on the war on drugs except more people going to prison possibly? We need to look at another solution. And the other thing is, it's no accident that, again, race. There are more black people, African American, especially men, in prisons than any other race. Because of where we've put them where we've put these people and the fact that we say, oh, they're more of a danger does no. They commit more dangerous crimes than a white person? No. More dangerous crimes than a Hispanic? No. More dangerous crimes than an Asian? No. If nothing else, we just want to punish one group. And that's the thing, is that's what we want to do politically. Politically, they look at, let's do this, and then we look at, oh, how do we save the race? How do we keep this from happening in the future? What do we do? Well, you can't answer what do we do until they have these jails and prisons full of these people. Well, we need to look at better solutions, and that's, again, another topic. But here's the thing. Don't let their candy speech get to you. Don't let them feed you a bunch of lines that are gonna make you feel good, make you feel full, give you that sugar high, if you will, from just what they're saying. We need to look at what they are doing, and we need to put our own people in place. This needs to be the new revolution. And I'm not saying pick up your guns. I'm not saying have a war. By no means necessary am I saying that. They say the equalizer is at the voting poll. Well, let's make it that way for real, because it's not. You're having two people running, and each one is trying to win so many votes. All they need is one more vote than the other person. That's it. Let's not give it to them. Let's find the people that we know will be responsible and go in and do it. And guess what? If they don't, we find somebody else. We keep pushing forward until true change happens. And it can only happen if y'all listen and y'all find a way to separate the two parties, to push them aside, to grow from the middle, to grow as humans together. So let's do that. Let's knock off this candy speech. So I'll give you another speech a little later, and I'll tell you, and it'll be kind of my candy speech, if you will, but it won't at the same time. So I thank you for watching this. If you do, just remember, right now, as we're getting ready for the elections, almost all the primaries are done. The different people are put in their places in whatever they're running for, and they're gonna start talking. And they're gonna start talking to make you feel good and warm and gooey inside. So let's be worse than that. Let's ignore the speech. Let's push them aside. Maybe it won't happen this year. Maybe it'll take a few years. But let's put people in who are just people, who are going to represent what our communities need, and come out on that ahead of things. We can fix what is broken. The people who are there cannot, do not, and will not. So thanks again. Catch you on the next one. Have a great day. Hope everybody's doing well. Once again, Michael Gage with The Worst Party. Check you later.